Hello and welcome, or welcome back for all of you. Some of you are familiar with the format of what we're going to do. So we've got about a 30-minute presentation. We're going to talk about that. And then after that 30-minute presentation, what we're going to do is have a discussion. So very much looking forward to that. The agenda for the conversation today, our focus being the coaching style of management. Got ahead of myself there. We will first talk about what is a leader, what is a mentor, what is a coach, defining each of those. We'll talk about how coaching matters, then explore the impact and the statistics of coaching, talk about coaching in the workplace, and then the real meat of it, go into tips and techniques for a coaching style of management. We'll then talk about examples of a coaching approach, move into Q&A time, share some resources, and then we'll have a discussion for those of you here live. Starting out, a definition. What is a leader? So I went to dictionary.com, and here's what I found. A leader is a guiding or directing head, as of an army, a movement, or a political group. Of course, we're talking about a leader in the workplace. And ultimately, here's where it gets interesting. A leader does mentor, and a leader coaches too. We'll explore the differences later. In terms of mentor, what is a mentor? Again, dictionary.com. A mentor is a wise and trusted counselor or teacher, an influential senior sponsor or supporter. That's what we see in the corporate space. A mentor both leads and coaches. So a coach, what is that? A coach is a trained, credentialed professional serving as the strategic partner in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires individuals to be their best selves and succeed in their careers. A coach does not mentor or lead. So where does that bring us in terms of the difference? A leader or mentor do the talking. A coach listens. A leader or mentor focuses the conversation on their own experience. They're passing on that experience, their wisdom. A coach focuses the conversation on enhancing the skills and outcomes for the other person. It's truly all about the client. A leader or a mentor gives advice, and a coach asks questions. A leader or a mentor is the expert with the answers, and a coach is the expert at eliciting the answers from the person doing the work. So how exactly does coaching matter? A Gallup poll of more than 1 million employed U.S. workers concluded that the number one reason people quit their jobs is a bad boss or immediate supervisor. Okay, what is this telling us? I'll give you another one. In Business News, they published this in 2011, and please think back to 2011, total down economy, in the tank. At that point in time, 84% of workers wanted to quit their job. They couldn't because of where the economy was at. So you tell me, if they want to quit their job, they just can't. How productive and engaged are they? So that was in 2011. And Right Management made a comment on this. This is more about employee dissatisfaction and discontent than it is about projected turnover. And it all goes back to who the boss is. So now we're going to explore the boss. If you think historically, remember this, these days, the boss was, I am the boss, do it my way or hit the highway. And that was really the prevailing culture in many organizations. And then we progressed. The transition phase was the boss saying, okay, let me tell you what I think, and you tell me what you think of my idea. Now, of course, the expectation was that when you said what you think of their idea, that you liked it, that you approved of it. And then the alternative was, let me tell you what I know so that you follow my example. Now, what's going to work in today's world? It's different. And we're moving here. Literally, the boss asking the question, what are your options for getting the results? If you think about people in the workforce today, they are completely disinterested in being micromanaged, having somebody over them all of the time. What works for them? They want to be empowered to do the job, to get the results. Literally, a coaching style of management works. It engages people, it gives them ownership, they feel good about what's going on. What's behind this? Well, look at some of the research for it. So first off, Gallup did 199 surveys on employee engagement, and here's what they found. Business units in the top half on employee engagement literally double their odds of delivering high performance when they have a coaching style of management. Companies in the top 10% on employee engagement beat their competition by 72% earnings per share. So think about what's going on there. When the management uses that coaching style with employees, people are engaged and it shows up in the bottom line. It has an impact in the success of the organization. Now, the information, it's amazing. So let's look at some more. And I know you've seen some of these statistics. Maybe the refresh on it is helpful. So Metrics Global, commonly cited, 529% ROI of coaching. And here's where it really applies to what we're talking about. When you add the financial benefit from employee retention, keeping those key players, the ROI goes to 788%. And again, the thought is, okay, what's going to make the difference? The old way of management, the transition way of management, or the coaching style of management, where people are empowered, they're engaged, they're more likely to stay there. Think about a great boss you've had, and you wanted to stay with that boss because of how they treated you. Of course, you've also seen the research. A go-to in many organizations is to do training. When you combine training with coaching, the gain on it is 4 times. You go from a 22% in productivity gain with training to an 88% productivity gain when you combine training with coaching. That research was at Public Personnel Management. So of course, the big question comes, and many organizations are asking this, is coaching something you can learn on your own or from your own industry experts? What's happening is in a lot of organizations, common practice is they will have people inside the organization develop the training programs for coaching. The problem is that the people developing the training programs for coaching aren't coaches. They're experts in their field, in what they do, without the expertise in coaching. So, of course, the key to it is to learn coaching from people who have the expertise in coaching. For those of you here, this is where you come in, because for somebody to truly develop their skills, yes, they can develop their skills when they have a coach and they're working with a coach, and they can also develop their skills through coach training, where it is someone who's an expert in that field. And how do these skills make a difference? First off, they elevate your communication, people skills, goal setting, and of course, support motivation. We'll dive into some of the tips and tricks for each of these. So start with listening skills. For those of you who have done coach training, you're familiar with this. You learn listening at a whole new level. We talk, of course, about active listening. That's something many people are familiar with. It's the idea of listening with the intention to understand, choosing to truly pay attention to what the other person is saying. This can be challenging because if you're normal, when you're listening to someone else, you're comparing it to your own experiences, or you're analyzing it, or you're thinking about a response to it, and you really miss a lot of what's being said. When we talk about active listening and coaching, we talk about listening with the intent to understand, listening to what's being said and what's not being said, noticing the energy behind what someone is saying. We also talk about rephrasing, a very succinct summary of what they said. It demonstrates listening. Requiring yourself to have the ability to rephrase really forces you into the listening, and it totally supports clarity for everyone in the conversation. We also talk about reflective listening, reflecting back what isn't said, the emotions behind the words, if you will, or the energy behind the words. That comes out through the observation of what's going on for the person speaking. And you reflect back what you're noticing and ask them about it. It takes listening to a whole new level. Another big part of our communication in coaching is that it's very much a solution focus. So one of the things we talk about is, okay, when there's something gone wrong, a problem or whatever, the norm is for people to start saying, okay, who did what, who said what, and create this shame, blame, pointing the fingers game. A solution focused moves past that. And we start with the question, where are you now? In other words, whatever's happened has happened. It's history. We can't change that. Where are you at right now? And then very quickly moving to, okay, where do you want to go? Given whatever the circumstances are, where do you want to take this? And from there, again, fairly quickly, moving into what are the action steps to get there? It very quickly creates this shift from a focus on the problem to a focus on the solution. Sometimes at that point, you're asking the next question. Sometimes you save it for later. And the next question is, how can this be prevented in the future? That is a value add when there is the possibility of whatever happened, whatever went wrong, coming up again. So we want to address that for the future. It totally changes communication when we focus on the solution instead of the problem. Let's also talk about recognizing different personal styles. Some people function primarily in emotion. Some people function primarily in logic. Statistically, it's 50-50. We all do both. Different circumstances bring out other sides of us. So the real question is, in that moment, in a conversation, where's that person at? Are they logic or are they emotion? And then adjusting to them based on what they are right now. We also have what we call passive communicators, people that let everybody else go first and may or may not speak up. And we have aggressive communicators, people that think out loud, they want to sell their opinion, their viewpoint, or whatever it is, and they express it, or they're simply very comfortable saying what they think, and they get it out there. Whatever the individual's style, recognizing it and adjusting to them is a big part of what we do as coaches. Consider the incredible value that has in management. When you're managing people and you're aware of who the person on your team is and what's going on for them, you're far more effective interacting with them. We also talk about questions in coaching. Coaching questions are completely different than any other type of question. There are a couple of keys that are super important when you ask a question in coaching. First off, coaching questions are short and simple. It's amazing. We have this idea that, oh, I want the question to be so profound or amazing or whatever. And the reality is, the shorter the question and the simpler the question, the more powerful the question. Coaching questions are also focused on the future, right in keeping with that idea of looking for that solution. It's where they're going, what they want it to be, how they're moving toward that. Coaching questions are confident in the client, believing in them. So when you're asking somebody a question, you're asking it in a way that demonstrates your confidence in their ability to figure out the answer and to move towards it. And this one is interesting for many people. Those of you in coaching are familiar with this. Coaching questions commonly start with either the word what or the word how. Yeah, sometimes we ask who, when, where. Most coaching questions start with what or how. That means they're open and they truly invite the other person to think and express themselves. So when we talk about a coaching style of management, it includes a coaching style of communication. Let's go further. Another big part of interacting with people is recognizing learning styles. 40% of the population are primarily visual, 20% are primarily auditory, and 40% are primarily kinesthetic. Yes, we are a combination. We all use all of them. And it's okay, what is somebody using primarily? What are they using right now? Because when you are aware of how someone else learns, it helps you interact with them more effectively. For example, if a manager has someone on their team that's learning a new job, a new task, a new skill, whatever it is, if they're a visual learner, they've got to see it. Auditory, okay, explain it. Kinesthetic, got to do it. And they're going to learn more effectively when you adjust to their style. Similarly, when you're having a conversation with them, you interact with them in the way that works based on their learning style. Very specifically, communicate with visual people with language that refers to what is seen, with auditory people with language that refers to what they hear, with kinesthetic people with language that refers to feelings or actions. Then, when you work with individuals and they're defining a goal they want, have them describe their desired outcome, what they really want it to be, using all three languages. Yes, you start with their primary, then you move to their secondary, then their tertiary. And when they fully describe what they want in all three languages, it's more real to them. And when it's more real to them, they're more motivated to achieve it. A coaching style of management means you're going to flex to personal styles and to learning styles. You want to recognize, respect, and adjust to different personal styles to work with their learning style. Absolutely supports the individuals. Another big part of what we gain through coaching and a coaching style of management is how we approach goal setting. One of the pieces we talk about is literally the way people define a goal. Are they talking about what they're moving toward or what they're moving away from? So, for example, on a job, if somebody is talking about, oh, I don't want to have to drive so far to get to work, or I don't want this going on or that going on, they don't really know what they want. When they talk about what they do want, they can move toward it more effectively. So in coaching, we talk about, okay, am I running away from something or am I running towards something? And a big part of defining goals is ensuring that it's about what they're moving toward. How do we do that? It's very simple. Ask what they do want. When people are telling you what they don't want, ask what they do want. On a similar vein, source of motivation is a big part of what we're working with in a coaching style of management. So, for example, you'll have people on the team that are doing things because they want to avoid a consequence. They're doing it for someone else. It has a very short-term impact. If somebody is doing it because they want to do it, because they recognize the value to them personally, it has a long-term impact. So as managers, it means asking somebody, What does it mean to you to accomplish this, to complete this? And have them identify how they personally gain from that. Bring out that internal motivation. On a similar vein, in terms of planning action, what you want to do is look at, are they being proactive or are they being reactive? Very specifically, are they initiating action or they're reacting to something that happens? In a coaching style of management, one of the scenarios we'll talk about is, imagine somebody wants a promotion and you're having a conversation with them. Okay, what are you doing to get that promotion? If their response is, well, I have a review in 6 months and then I'll find out, they're being reactive. They're waiting to find out. And what we're going to do is ask them, okay, between now and the time of your review, what can you do to increase the likelihood of earning that promotion? Literally inviting them to be proactive. Some organizational cultures support being proactive, and some actually frown on that, which is somewhat amazing. So we definitely want to support people being proactive, initiating action, figuring it out, moving forward. What roles call for a coaching style of management? It's fascinating because it serves people in all capacities. Anyone who is a leader, a manager, or a supervisor, including business owners, is going to benefit from a coaching style of management. Similarly, people that are doing project management, human resource professionals, trainers, teachers, consultants, and counselors all benefit from using coaching skills in the work that they do. One of the things I often say is that I'm a better mom because of learning coaching skills. I'm a better family member because of coaching skills. It helps in every interaction we have with other people, as well as helping in the workplace. Lots of resources. Run through these fairly quickly. Of course, the Center for Coaching Certification and Coach 123. So at the Center for Coaching Certification, coach training is offered, provided at all levels, whether somebody wants the basic coaching skills in an organization to develop leaders, or if you want a full-on certification credentialing process. Coach 123 is our coaching firm where we provide coaches in organizations and at all different levels. So we very much focus on making it easy for the organization and on ensuring it's effective in terms of working. Addition to that, we put out lots of information. We have the coaching blog, we have our Coaching Perspectives book series, and then of course these monthly webinars that we do. We are available if somebody is interested in learning more, whether it's about coaching services, coach training, advancing your own coaching career. We're available for a quick call or chat. We also serve many organizations in terms of outsourcing, so helping with coaching programs, training coaches, providing the coaching. For those of you that are interested in some of these services, the outsourcing, etc., we're happy to schedule a call, simply explore, okay, what are you interested in and what are the options for making that work? For those of you that are continuing your own journey as a coach, you're invited to think about, okay, what is your action plan? So out of this conversation, what are the insights you gained? How are you going to use them? Intentionally plan that. And one of the things we say, having a coach is good for coaches too. So that fits, and develop your own support network. I am available for questions and answers, whether email or phone after the fact. So feel free to reach out for that. And of course, I do want to thank you for your time, your interest in the conversation. Happy to support you and be available. So thank you very much, and make it a great one. Do come visit us at www.coachcert.com or at www.coach-123 Have a good one.